Hi everyone, and welcome to the gardens at Rienzi. Rienzi is a house museum owned by the Museum of Fine Arts Houston. The house has 4 acres of woods and gardens, and I got to tour a small part of them the other day. By far, my favorite area of the gardens was the reflecting pool behind the house. Between the shade and a beautiful breeze, the area was cool, and the sound of the fountains and birds were wonderful to listen to. I decided to paint the sculpture of a woman that was sitting beside the pool. I believe the sculpture is bronze or some other dark reflective metal, and the contrast between the bright water and the dark surface of the statue made for a great painting subject. First, I laid in a light blue-green wash over most of the water area, leaving a few white streaks where the paper could show through. These white areas will become some of the highlights on the water. It's hard to explain how I paint water. I know that it's a skill that takes practice. You have to paint a lot of water before it starts to look like water. Water is reflective, meaning it captures some of the colors of the sky and objects around it. But unless the water is very dark or very muddy, it's also transparent, meaning you can see the colors of the objects beneath it as well. The water in the pool that was shaded by the trees was a very deep turquoise, and the highlights were bright white. So this particular body of water had a big range in values, meaning there were some very bright areas and some very dark areas. Because of the fountains and the breeze, the surface of the water was also constantly in motion. I've seen lakes that are so still that their surface becomes a perfect mirror of the sky. This was not the case with this pool. The fountain ripples made rings that spread outward from the center of where the fountain stream hit the water's surface, and the rest of the water was also constantly rippling from the breeze, as I mentioned. As for the statue, its surface was also reflective. The shoulders and parts of the body facing upwards were mostly reflecting the deep blue of the sky, while some of the surfaces facing the ground were reflecting the pinkish brown of the concrete. These were much dimmer than the surfaces facing the sky, however. Light bounces from surface to surface, so the concrete was bouncing some very weak light off the lower parts of the statue, creating the reflection. I think my most important piece of advice for painting reflective objects, whether we're talking about metal statues, water, glass, or anything else, is to pick one object you want to learn to paint well, like water, and then paint it over and over again. While there are some tips and tricks that can help you, there's no substitute for practice. I hope you have the chance to visit the gardens at Rienzi, and don't forget to bring your sketchbook. Admission to the gardens is free, and they occasionally have sketching and painting classes available to the public for a small fee. I had a wonderfully relaxing morning painting there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.